Hello, welcome everybody to Friday Night at the Crib. We're going to talk a little Flying Dutchman. We're going to try and revive and have an open mic with the Chore discussion that we have, and a couple topics we're going to talk about. One thing I'm going to briefly touch on is your guys' ideas, a PVE battle log. That we'll talk about a little bit based on some discussions that were created in Discord. And let me go ahead and introduce everybody from left to right. Magic Mike.
Hello, folks.
Watchman.
Hi.
Dr. Death.
Hello.
Ben.
Hello, everyone.
And this is Hefe. So, again, right-hand corner, in case you'd like to join the show.
And Hefe, just in case people don't know who I am, I'm also known as some other dude.
Yeah. I think I was gonna, I was gonna introduce you as Sod is your new name, some other dude, but we can, we'll say that for the Wednesday show as far as your new name.
Isn't that in England kind of not so good?
Well, the person that said it is actually American, so yeah, he just wasn't sure.
I think that abbreviation is.
Oh, Sod? Oh, yeah.
SOD.
Yeah.
I don't really know what it means, but I think not great.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And Mike, if you can, what we talked about before with the
give me
slides.
about 30 seconds.
Okay. Well, we've seen Flying Dutchman. It's a little bit of a. It's not really a tricky target. It just takes a little time. We don't have a huge amount of time to figure it out, but it's not. It doesn't do as much damage as we were told on Discord that it would do. We were told that robot with who designed the target was doing it in, what was it, 220 minutes of damage. And, people are getting it down to, less than a quarter of that. So, but I think he did most of his testing with 5 bat rays or 5 razor tails. So the weapons on the flagships and having the flagship seems to make a significant difference. But let me go ahead and put Mike on. Oh, okay. All right. I thought you were ready.
I am. I was. I just switched back real quick to make sure I didn't stop my repair. And
okay.
Are we going to continue to talk more about the Halloween thing, or are we just going to?
No, that's what we're doing right now.
Okay.
How's it going?
Good. How are you doing, Corey?
I'm good.
Okay. Yeah. Basically. Yeah. Could you click again, Mike, back to where we were? This is just I put some random stuff up here. The thing on the left-hand side is the only thing that's relevant that we haven't really talked about at this point. The skiffs that come out of the Flying Dutchman have what appear to be the fang-tooth aura coming out of them. And I'm not sure. Something sort of typed. Okay. It's a little hard to read. There's some black.
I think it's a definition or something that's over.
Yeah. But basically, it has on the fang-tooth. The range is shorter, obviously, on these ships from what you see. But it has an aura cap of 5. Maybe it's different for them. But it reduces your concussive armor bypass, which doesn't appear to be a big part of this, but they do launch torpedoes. And gives you a combat speed reduction of -5 and a flat reload modifier of +1 second. So that's my assumption of what those skiffs are doing, besides also adding in some torpedoes that I'm not sure if they're doing a huge amount of damage. All right. Who just fell off their chair?
That was me, probably.
Okay. All righty. I hope you survive that. I'm gonna put you on mute for a second, Mike. It sounds like you're having
I should
a
be okay.
battle.
I should be okay.
It sounds like you were fighting somebody off there for a while.
This thing slid off my head.
Okay. Alrighty.
So much for trying something different.
Okay. It's still an issue. I'm going to put you on mute for a second.
Okay, fine.
That's all right. You get that out. Okay.
Yeah, sounds like I'm micing somebody up and I've got it running. You know what I mean? It's like when you're putting a mic on somebody and you've left it recording. It's like that before. It's like safely set.
Yeah. It sounded like or he was fighting somebody off. I wasn't sure which one it was going on, but yeah, I can see that as well. But basically, in the 13, which is the one we're going to talk about first, there's big issues that I've seen with this 7 is the lesser target, but the 13 has got basically the Flying Dutchman, one single ship that launches off skiffs, and we assume that's what the impact that they're having, or something that approximates that. And as you know, as you've seen in the briefing, it starts launching skiffs in greater numbers and in greater frequency, the more damage that takes. And we can talk, I'll open it up because there's different strategies associated with how to deal that. And it's also launching off these green mortar things that are, I think, they're okay to deal with until the point in time that you've got 3 or 6 of these things slowing you down, sitting on top of you and reducing your reload. But I'll open it up if anybody wanted to talk about, individual strategies. I just wanted to talk about the 13 as far as the information that we've been given, both through the briefing and what's graphically displayed. So, Dr. Duff, you said,
depending on what you're going for, I've got 2 strategies that I've tested out and ran on this. I can do the target for instant repair in my base every time with the razor tails, and with the razor tails, just bum rush it. You want to drive straight at that ghost ship. Don't even worry about the skiffs. Just drive straight at the ghost ship. And then when you see it start to turn to the right, you turn to the right also. And you can get right up next to it and just start circling it. And you can pretty much walk the target for instant repair. It's not that big a deal. You get 750 points towards the badges. And if you're somebody chasing the badges, if you go ahead and start that pattern out, run up, hit the ship, stay circling it until it's almost dead, then drive away from it over to a corner, you can sit there and pull out those skiffs all the way through the whole 10 minutes until the 10 minutes is almost up, then go kill the mothership, and the target then is worth, the most I've gotten is 2,100 points.
A question, Dr. Death. On your fleet, are you running any anti-morts?
Yeah, I do have Gales on my fleet.
Okay. How many, if you don't mind me asking?
And any specials as well.
I've got 10 Gales in the fleet. And each of the ships has the countermeasure reloader 4.
Okay.
Have you just been using razor tails?
Yeah. I tried with my bat rays and they didn't do so good. I took 3 hours of damage on the straight bat ray fleet. Then I tried a mixed fleet and that took me down to about an hour and a half damage. And then I put on the regular razor tails, just ran the straight razor tails with the flag, and it's the one that I'm getting instant repair for. These targets were definitely set up for the razor tail. Razor tail owners definitely have a distinct advantage in this target.
Yeah.
I only built the bat flag, as I said. I have got 5, well, actually 6 razor tails, but so I'm just going to. But I haven't got the razor tail flag. But I think once I do this little repair, I'll go out and just use the razor tails. See how that works out. But I haven't got the flag done because I was working on building a bat fleet.
Yeah, but the bat's not. I'm getting, right around somewhere in the 30 minute damage on my bat fleet, and I'm still haven't perfected it by any stretch of the imagination, because because I tried to hit one of the 7s with him. Well, let's talk about the 13 before we talk about the 7s. The 7s have severe issues, and until the show's over, I would recommend do not hit them with garrison fleets. So,
well, with the 7s, I've been using my fang tooths on. You can just barely outrange the thermal on it, and just let it go.
Okay, so you're able to hit the 7s for no damage?
No damage. As long as you don't get within their thermal range. It is very, very close.
Okay. That's interesting. Yeah, the issue, why I brought it up, and I guess we'll talk about the 7 at this point. The 7 is described as a garrison target with the recommendation of legendary icebreakers. I'm like, okay, I'll do better. I'll put my legendary Inferno Dragons in there, and I got close to 7 hours of damage. But then I put my Hunter fleet in there, and I got an hour of damage. And I've heard people are having luck with Buccaneers, and pretty much everything but Garrison appears to work in these targets. And the real reason to hit the Garrison targets is because for some reason they're treating this like a raid. They shut off relocation. They shut off sector threat. So now the only way you can get uranium reasonably is if you have the daily that gives you 310.
I wanted
the Scourge Blockade.
Yeah,
So
I wanted to come in on that, on that rubbish. Like our alliance is split up over 3 sectors at the moment because there was no announcement of them shutting off relocate. There was no telling everyone about the uranium. But I mean, the fact that no one can relocate, and there's a raid apparently next week as well. That's a bloody joke. We've got
as far as the raid next week, this ends on Monday, so you'll have several days in order to relocate. But yeah, they should have told us all this stuff beforehand, that they were going to do all these things. They completely dropped the ball as far as communication about this event, because nobody, I think, had the expectation. We did get a little bit of an expectation that they were going to do a rolling start. And I guess that's keyed into the rolling start. I'm not certain. I don't know. I guess we should have taken that clue, I guess.
It's another raid without half repair.
Yeah. It's yeah. I mean,
if they shut down relocate, it's a raid.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not sure why they did this. I guess they were trying to manage server load. I don't know. I guess that's the reason they do it.
Well, now they did. Did you see they're selling us uranium in the uranium? So they made up for the fact that they didn't tell us, and that they just blatantly shut it down and left everybody screwed.
Well, like I said, you could hit the 7s, and you can get them that way. But yeah, that's the main reason to hit the 7s. Or if you want the skins, it appears to be an easier path to the skins. So, yeah, I'm not terribly happy about it. They should have communicated that prior. Players could have stocked up on uranium prior. They could have relocated if they wanted to. No, there was a deadline. They could have started an expedition for uranium. There's a lot of things they could have done if this was communicated to the player base. And I don't think it was, I don't know. I'm not sure if it was just a communication breakdown or, something else.
It's equivalent of what my mate done. He came home to his wife. He said, "Start packing, love. I've sold the house." You know what I mean? Yeah. Basically, it's like, that's about as much notice as we got,
Yeah. It's, it wasn't well done. And again, I posted a link in the right-hand side of YouTube chat in case you'd like to join. So we've talked about the 7. We've talked about the 13. George, is your mic working?
I hope so. Can you hear me now?
Yep, there's Father George joining us. There we go.
George.
Yeah, yeah. So you have any thoughts on the 13 or the 7 or anything on the
I started really late. I still had a hull in the shipyard and I had to get it finished, which means I had to run one of the TLCs, get that thing out, and I was seeing everyone freaking out and pissed off and all this other shit. And I went in my very first target, I got 28 minutes of damage. And I was like, all right, what am I missing? Now the only thing that I'm gonna guess that the way that I'm driving anyway, if my damn flagship would fire its fucking little fields where I'm actually driving instead of off to the side, I'd probably drop about 75% of my damage. That's my biggest thing, is that I'm not getting the speed ups when I want. And I'm repairing right now. I'm gonna try a speed crew and see if that changes things instead of damage crew. But I'm getting roughly around like 20-ish minutes every time. I can get in on the if I bring them back into the shipyard, I'll either have 4 minutes and something of damage or just over 5 minutes, like 5 minutes and 6 seconds. So I can break it up and do instant repair in the base. So I'm not sure exactly what everyone else has been trying to flip out that bad. So maybe it's I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people haven't figured out the whole mortar thing. Those mortars are nasty, and I think that's I think that's the big issue. It's just a driving thing, and I haven't used the Occam's razor. I mean, it does seem like an interesting mechanic. It's sort of like having a toddler in the front seat with this child seat facing backwards with a nitrous button. And the kid's drunk is the way I've seen it work. I mean, do you have any? Is that it's sort of a mechanic? I don't have one, but I've watched people drive it, and it doesn't appear to make a huge amount of sense.
It kind of makes sense in terms of, like, I know how to use the mechanic. I've gotten a chance to play with it a little bit, but the problem that I have is if you're doing a lot of maneuvering, at some point it breaks, and instead of shooting in front of you, it's going to shoot to the side of you instead, which totally screws you up if you're trying to, take a left and it's shooting to the right. I mean, I'm just saying that's gotta get fixed. That's gotta get fixed. I haven't tried the bat fleet yet. I'm tempted to try a mixed fleet, but I don't know that I would actually gain anything from a mixed fleet in this particular target because there's nothing to surface. So, because the bats don't get that extra bonus,
Well, yeah, because you're using the razor tails, because the razor tails are much more effective at taking out the skiffs. The bat ray's not as effective as far as taking them out. I'm not sure. I'm assuming this is the Fangtooth slowdown, reload, debuffs.
Do you have the people that are not seeing that with the bat rays? Do they have the flag with the 2 new weapons on it?
Yeah, I did.
Not seeing.
Yeah, got it.
Not seeing what? Oh, the ability.
Being able to kill the skiffs quickly, because I know that there was a big difference when I tried just 5 regular razor tails and then I put the flag in. Huge difference.
Yeah, so. Once they start launching 3, you have to, because the way the mechanic works is you're going to fire at the Flying Dutchman as long as it's in range, unless you specifically select one of the skiffs. So you need to back out of that range, because otherwise the skiffs just sit on top of you and slow down your reload and your combat speed if you don't kill them right away. And so that's an interest. I should have brought that up earlier, that's part of the mechanic, is that they aren't a priority target. The Dutchman's a priority target, so to speak. Not priority targeting, but it's the skiffs are not targeted, if the big ship, the Flying Dutchman, is not
Is
in
within range. Right.
Yeah.
So they have maybe something like a sloth thing going on. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Right. Hey, Ben, you said you were going to drug those dogs. Okay.
He ran out of diphenhydramine.
Yes. So, any other things associated with the Flying Dutchman? I mean, we could talk about some of the drops and whatnot.
Yeah, that's one of the things I was going to say is of all the things that I have heard so I've had a lot of feedback, and putting aside the ones that aren't or couldn't figure out the target at first and were getting out crazy amounts of damage. One of the things that seems to frustrate the hell out of the players that actually can do this, is that they feel gypped for the big target, the drops that are coming in with the old limited tech, the what the hell do you call it?
Cheetah Scout, assault
yeah,
stuff.
those two. Yes, yeah, those.
Yeah.
So they're kind of frustrated with that. The whole, the two that we want, the Gales and the anti-torpedoes, seem like, especially given this raid set, something that we really kind of want. And part of me is like, yeah, cool. If we get them, it kind of just helps our ability in the raid. But the thing is, are they tuning for that or not? If they're not tuning for it, then great. It's just a bonus. If they're going to tune for it, especially for players that are on the top of the player, what do you call it? Chuck, I am so blanking on words today. I fucking should have taken my medicine. For the leaderboards, right? The people that were on the leaderboards, those people are going to have probably a good amount of the specials. And if it's tuned for that, then having something where we're not going to have access to it again soon really is not something that makes the players feel good, because we're going to be going, hey, these people that have all this stuff are doing these targets for half the damage. That's going to be an issue.
Yeah, I agree.
And given some of those numbers and given what we saw in last month's targets, I think that the combination of these two specials is going to be really interesting in certain builds. So I don't know. I mean, I don't mind.
I mean, I have one personally. I might have got unlucky with the drops, but I have one Gale 4 completed, and then I don't even have the anti-torpedo completed. And right before I started the show, I was 500th globally. So I'm not sure that there might be a very small group that has a ton of them.
I don't know. Like, it's.
Of course, on the other end of that, I'm sitting with 5 of each blueprint right now done. I can build 5 of each.
And what are you globally? What are you globally?
Like 30th.
Okay, yeah. That's what I'm saying. A very small group that has all that. So it wouldn't make a lot of sense, like what we're talking about, for them to tune to 30 people.
But look at the history of kicks.
We got 3 days.
Yeah. And look at the history of kicks. Kicks always tunes to whatever the top tech is. They always have.
Yeah.
It's never failed. I've never seen a raid where they didn't. I've seen them have to turn the raids back down because they screwed up. But the raids have always been tuned for whatever the top tech is.
Yeah, but I think it depends maybe on how many of these. Might be the other thing. But yeah. No, they didn't tune this. I mean, this isn't a raid, quote unquote, but they didn't tune towards the top tech because, at least on Discord, what we were told is we were to expect 2 hours and 20 minutes of damage, because Robot was driving these with, 5 Bat Rays or 5 Razors,
right,
and without the flagship, and without the new armor or weapons. So I don't think they tuned this one towards that. And, I'm not sure they always do that. Is what I'm trying to get that point for us.
I will say, just so people, I'm trying to think of the Bat Ray one. If I would have someone try, if they have Bat Rays, I'd try running a Salty Dog crew and see what happens with that extra reload, especially if you have antis on it.
Yeah, Yeah, and Rena's
You know?
saying that the people without the fully built flag are getting the robot damage, and so that's what I'm saying. They weren't at least they weren't tuning towards the map, the most advanced tech, and who God knows what they tuned the 7 towards.
Yeah, the 7 is screwed up, but no, we've seen that throughout the game. Other things, TLCs or other things like this, aren't necessarily tuned, but raids have always been tuned to whatever the top tech is for the raid fleet.
Yeah, like I said, I think sometimes they're getting away from that. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, they may do that this time. I don't know. So, but anything else on the current whatever week special event, the Halloween?
No, not that I have.
Anybody else? Ben, Mike, George, Watchman,
Not really, no.
Corey. No. Okay. All right. Mike, can you go back to the slides? I want to have another conversation. Me and George, as far as the people there. Yeah, you've skipped too far ahead, Mike. But we were having a conversation as far as what everybody thinks are chores and potential solutions, or have I not included everything? Are there more things that we should consider as chores, or have I included things that aren't chores or whatnot? I just want to open this up to, to other people to add, or hopefully some of the people who watch the Wednesday show.
Yeah.
Okay. And so anything that
Well,
yeah, you gotta add one more chore to this now. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Halloween special events. It's got to go on the damn list because, dear God, how many of these do you got to hit to actually get enough blueprints to?
Yeah, but it's a quick target. I mean, it's not like it's not like you're out there hitting like the new titanium thing. It's not like you're out there hitting. You have to kill 50 things in order to complete one target. The only thing that I feel is chore-like associated with this personally is the shard mechanism and the release of information that they're not going to have for the foreseeable future releases of these shards, which I'm I guess I should have mentioned that earlier. I'm not a big fan of that because once I complete one, I'm like, okay, I need to get another 5. Maybe I'm go do something, go do something else at that point, because I need to get another 5, and I have a 30% chance each time. So maybe I need to go hit another 15 targets in order to get something completed in my mind.
Basically, I'll translate that message as we're not releasing them anywhere else. Is you do this or you're going to suffer in the actual raid.
See, that's what I'm hoping is not going to be. That's the catch. And that's the one thing that we don't know until, we see the next targets next month.
Escalation. And I don't know. It's like, again, you've got it up there now, the chores. They've added another chore without warning, shut down the relocate and uranium. And now this is something that is almost compulsory if you want to do well in the next raid. And then, of course, you still got to refit.
Well, now hold on. Everything's compulsory if you want to do well in whatever target we're going to. I mean, you need, the flagships if you want to do well in the next raid.
I know, but they've added they've thrown something else on top of that.
But that's what we were talking about before, whether or not it's balanced towards that or not, and we don't know that. I think it's going to depend a lot on distribution. I think it's going to depend a lot on how many people do whatever they do here in the next 3 days. I mean, that's an unknown. In my mind, that's an unknown. I'm going to be very disappointed if they're actually tuned to that. But I'm not going to jump the gun just yet.
I've got to say, I'm very disappointed with this at the moment. You know, just the way this has come out. Not happy. It'd have been nice if they'd thrown us a bone, you know, give us a little bit of a bonus. You think, oh, that's nice. But this isn't. You know, this is a complete opposite.
I just think the shard mechanic in it is it makes it, you got to hit too many targets. That's the biggest problem. Otherwise, these targets are actually fun. They're not hard. You know, they're not really a difficult target. You know what I mean? It's an active target. It's not bad. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that I've got to collect shards for every damn thing.
If you've got the fleets, you're okay, aren't you? You know?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that haven't yet, you know? That's the thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you got to have the fleets and you got to have the build right.
Yep. And that's narrowing it down to quite a small percentage of the game players, I think, you know? So, yeah, I think it's pretty rough on most of the players. Anyway.
I like the target myself for the Halloween thing. It's just the repetitiveness of having to do it. It's what's making it a chore to get the shards.
Yeah. FYI, I just ran a 7 by accident with my Razortail fleet. Absolutely 0 damage. I don't know if that's supposed to be a garrison target then. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I haven't tried hitting him. I mean, what do they pay out? I mean, really, you've got to go for the 13.
I have no idea.
If you want the actual countermeasure, you know, the Gal 4 and the anti-torp, which would seem to be the ones that are really you need. You know?
The reason people are hitting the 7s is because you have a better chance of getting the uranium, the titanium, and the base parts out of the 7s than you do out of the 13s.
Obviously, that's
so people are using the 7s to get resources, and they're using the 13s to get the prints.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because most of us could already get the resources, you know. So we didn't need another target for that, really, you know.
Well, there's no sector threat.
Exactly. Yeah, but they didn't have to do that, did they? That's the point, isn't it? You know.
I don't know. I don't know what they used for the library or the setup for when they programmed it. I mean,
I just can't see the logic in this. I can understand if they run this as a kind of a TLC or something, you know, on the side that people could go and hit, you know, just for the 13s if they needed it, and just left the sector threat open, allowed everybody to still relocate and everything like that, and just run this as a TLC. That was an open
right. But then there's no competition. I mean, at this point, they're clearly trying to figure out how to do some sort of competition with PvE because players can't, you know, PvP is not exactly what it was. You know, I mean, that was the basis of this game, has been competition since day one.
Yeah, but you still rack up a score even when they used to do the raids that had the little towers, like the towers next to the bases. Your scores will still rack up, you know. So yeah, they can still see who's doing what and who isn't.
In a TLC?
They actually did a few raids, if you remember, where you would just click it and come out and hit the target right next to your base, so no one else could take it. So
right.
they could have done the same format in this, in the Flying Dutchman. You know, so they wouldn't have had to turn off the threat. They wouldn't have had to turn off relocate or anything like that. They could have just made it so that you just click the put it in a TLC, and whoever gets the most points, because it's the same as they'd run a raid format. Like they did that before. They've done it before, so it must be quite simple for them to do it again. So they didn't need to do it this way. Is what I'm trying to say.
All right, I'm still trying to find the nexus of the issue.
Is that they turned off the sector threat. They stopped the relocate, and that's affected a lot of people because a lot, we've got half our alliance spread all over the place, and yeah, and now they've got to find other ways to hit stuff.
I think they're treating it more or less like a raid, other than it's not really a raid.
Yeah,
other than it's not half repair time.
Yeah.
Yeah, half repair time is the only thing missing because even our friends list has been dropped down. If you look at your gift list, you're dropped down to your 10 people like you would be in raid.
So it's a raid, isn't it?
Well, I don't see a bajillion
everything works
prizes.
like a raid except that.
But I also don't see a bajillion prizes and stuff. I mean, there's a complaint for shutting off the relocate. That was crappy. But I don't know if it's something that I'm going to get like completely up in arms in. I'm
Everything
just
else
sending
is
a
like
ticket.
a raid, no, George.
Like what?
I think you get the 10 people down at the bottom. The sector threats shut off. The jumping shut off. Now I lost my train. The ability to gift, which is not a big deal, only works on mine during a raid, and it happens to work right now, but it doesn't any other time.
But here's the thing: you guys are getting to some point, right? It's just like with the chore thing. You got to get to the next. What is the base problem that you guys have with it? What's the base issue that you have here? Because there are some little things, yes, they're issues, but it's not like, when we start talking about chores, there's like this big list of stuff that we have on this slide, but when it comes down to it, it all boils down to two basic things that are the cause root issues of the problems. So like for this right here, for this event, is it just that you guys don't want an event?
No, I don't personally have an issue with it. It's just they're treating it like a raid, but they didn't tell us it was going to be like a raid. So
okay, so communication. We're going back to communication is the base root of the problem here.
Well, if it affected me, I guess that would be it. Because had I not known to stock up on my uranium and things like that, because there's some people that didn't, and then they find out that all that's been shut off and they can't. But yeah, they can buy it, or I guess they can hit the 7s or what have you if they're able to. So I think maybe, I guess if you had to boil it down, had you known, then there wouldn't be any issue.
Right. So communications is the biggest thing here.
I think, from where I sit, it is. Others may have a different opinion.
I mean, is that what it is, John?
Yeah, it's just complete lack of communication, wasn't it? It's suddenly like bang. There you go.
So that's the nexus of the problem with the event then.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's much easier to once you pinpoint what the nexus is, it's much easier to formulate a good, point to bring to either someone or bring up on the forums or something. Because if you can go on for 20 minutes complaining about the event when really the base issue is the communication sucked ass. Yeah. That's a completely different thing, though.
It looks like they
that's the first point.
I'm still sticking with the crux of my problem is the damn shards. I'm having to hit way too many fucking targets to get a fucking blueprint.
Yeah, it's a poor mechanism for something that's not going to get released for the foreseeable future. It's a poor mechanism because, like I said, it actually discourages people from playing in my mind. I mean, once you get towards the end of this and because, like I said earlier, we got 2 at the hitting the 13s. We got 2 as a high probability. And I'm guessing that it's about a 75% chance that you get one of those 2 based on the number of I've claimed. 70 to 75, somewhere in that neighborhood, just for me. But I'm dealing with small numbers. I'm not sure how many I've actually claimed. 15 or whatever. But then you start getting the skins, and then at the bottom you start getting resources of the 13. But at one point, so if you got a 70% chance and you need to basically get 10 across those 70%, that's hitting a lot of targets for something that you're not sure that you're going to complete. So I don't like that mechanism. If you guys understand what I mean, that am I just wasting my time if I don't get to the next complete blueprint by claiming the shards? And I agree with you. I don't like the shard mechanism associated with this, because especially if they're not going to be available, it'd be great if maybe next raid it was part of the loot box, which I also dislike as far as a mechanism, that we could finish these off.
The shards is a bloody lottery, isn't it? That's the thing. It's not guaranteed. If you knew you hit that target and you're getting that prize, or even you guaranteed the shard, and you needed 5 shards, 6 shards, then all right, if I put 6 of them, I've got a shard. I've got a part, yeah. Fair enough. But it's a bloody lottery, and and some people are going to be luckier than others, but they've done as much work, and that's why I don't like that idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the shards for this type of application, especially when they did tell us on Discord that they would be released, as soonish or whatnot, and then to come back after 2 hours into the event, the special event, that they would not be released for the foreseeable future. That ruins things in my mind as far as my desire to go out and just earn shards in case I don't complete the blueprint associated with it, because then it's just a waste. It's just sitting there. It's sort of like my proto nemesis shards or whatnot. They're just completely useless.
Your OCD kicks in.
No, it's not OCD. No, I don't have OCD. No, it's just, am I wasting my time? It used to be more of a thing, because this is not OCD. This is not about completing something. It's about, I need to complete something for it to have any value whatsoever based on what we've been told. That's different than, completing something just to complete something. It just removes your motivation. If I have 1 shard, how many do I need to hit to get 5? We don't know that answer. That's more of my issue. And so it appears for players like me, it disincentivizes me to go out and hit more, because do I need to hit 10 more? Do I need to hit 30 more? I don't know. Is it reasonable for me to expect to complete one of these blueprints within the time allotted? I don't know.
See, at that point, it gets to the black magic part where we don't know what their numbers are, because that's data. That would be, I'm gonna guess, because they keep doing this crap, is that players for the most part actually respond to this, like it works for them. You know what I mean? They get the player engagement, they get the player numbers, they get all the crap that they're looking for. So that, I don't know, man. I mean, I personally don't like the shard drops and stuff, but unless something else comes up that they can get the same thing out of, we might be boned. I mean, I thought we were moving away from this. I really thought we were moving away from the shard thing. I thought they had agreed that that wasn't, a good thing for the players, but apparently
it's not so much the shard thing. It's the fact that at one point, these will be available soon, to not for the foreseeable future. They could be, which one's lying to us, or not being fully lying is probably the wrong word, but being forthright with us as far as what we should expect. Because I did notice in Sam Chris's announcement on Discord that he didn't mention raids. He said they're not going to be released
Yeah,
here,
I noticed
here, and
that
here.
too.
You know, and they're not going to be released in the FM, TLCs, whatnot. So they could be showing up in the raids. I'd be more enthusiastic of hitting these targets if I knew they were going to be available in some way in the raid, because then I could feel like, okay, even if I get 3 of them or 4 shards to complete something,
It'll help you later on.
I can complete it in the raid. It's not going to be like 2 months from now when, you know, this torpedo thing is useless. You know, unless some, you know, or not useless, but it's gonna be devalued at that point. So,
Well, I don't know. As I said, we've got 79 players in our alliance at the moment, and there's not many of them are saying they're happy with what's going on. You know, like, well, actually, nobody. You know, so they're doing it. You know, because they feel obligated to do it, but it's not something they wanted to do. That's the point. You know, it's like another chore they've been forced into. You know, that's the general consensus of what I'm getting on my alliance page and the alliance chat. You know.
Okay, so that feeling that they feel that they're feeling forced into it, though, where's it stemming from?
Well,
damn, 10 minutes of damage. Sorry.
If they don't do it, then they miss out. You know,
they miss out on the tech. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, they miss out on something that as we all know, and it's not just the wanting to have everything. You know what I mean? It's the if you miss out on anything, that could be the one bloody thing that you do need. You know, that oh damn, I wish I'd got those anti-torps. You know, because I'm getting wrecked by torps. You know, so if you don't get them, it's that mindset. You know, it's so people feel like they must do it. You know. But yeah, not happy about it, you know. So it's not just me, you know. It's a general feeling.
No, I understand that, but it's much easier to give feedback once we know what it is that upsetting the players. You know, like why are they? Do you know what I mean?
Well, because they feel they've been pushed into doing another. Or have to get another.
Right. No, that I understand. It's why do they feel
before the next raid? Otherwise, they're gonna take a hell of a lot of damage. That's why.
But what's the nexus of that? That's the catch. That's the important part.
I mean, do they feel that? I mean, the torpedo one is the one that has the most unknown. We know the mechanic associated with the gales, and this is a pretty good improvement. I probably should have done some sort of figuring out as far as the improved effectiveness for weight and weapon slots associated with it. I didn't. But it is an improvement. I mean, whether there's like 30% per weapon slot, I don't know. I mean, I would expect some number around there without even doing any numbers. But I don't think it's going to change your world. The torpedo one, I don't think we know the mechanics well enough. We've never seen it in action. Well, at least I haven't. I guess people, you know, can own them now and build them, and potentially know how potentially effective they are, and whether you need to pair those with a countermeasure special or whatnot to make them actually effective. We just don't know, and it's something they've been doing for a long time, where you don't need to. You're afraid of the sort of unknown. You don't know what the future is, and you don't know what the capabilities of the technology that you're being offered at that point is either.
It's the first time they've ever released a torpedo countermeasure.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of people do feel obligated that they might need.
How many players in your alliance felt like they were pushed towards bounty when the other countermeasures came out?
Oh, quite a few. I would have thought. Yeah. You know,
when the ballistic one and the
the
thrower one and stuff.
That one, I don't know. I don't think anyone's really used that, taking that one too seriously. You know, but I mean, the thing is, okay.
So, but
Well,
see,
well,
hold on. But that's what I mean, though. Like that one right there, it's the same thing. It's a new countermeasure. It's this and that. I didn't see near as many people upset as this one.
Okay, I want to
So
throw.
what's the real basis? You know what I mean?
Okay, let's.
The fact that this one is PVE, which means it's raid, and
Yeah.
map targets, it's chore.
And one other thing that I wanted to mention, but we'll throw it back to, is the fact that even though we discussed this heavily about sniping, yeah, okay, and then like just Micah's, and then they've come on and they put up polls and things like that, yeah. They haven't actually done anything yet, but now they've released a torpedo countermeasure. Is that their answer?
I don't think so.
Is that their answer?
To sniping? No. That's far because sub sniping is so
Only part of it.
1980. So 1980s at this point that you could have a level 75 with a missile storm cruiser equipped with anything, and he can take out all of your stuff, all of your just because of the.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
the armors, whatnot. Subs are not.
I'm aware of that, but you just wonder if you never know. Kick's thinking, they think, well, we've given you a countermeasure, because
No, I think you're not giving him enough credit.
Yeah, because Kick, that was Kick's. That was the GM of Battle Pirates making that suggestion that we just get rid of. Temporarily get rid of anything being able to hit as far as player versus player being able to hit a PvE fleet. Just get rid of that because they don't have a solution at this point. And the reason they don't have the main reason I don't think they have a solution is because they created this divide. I mean, they
separated PvP and PvE originally by making the fleets different. So, and that's why I do totally agree they shouldn't be able to engage each other, and that is what I come on the first thing I said last week, wasn't it? But and good to see that it's all been followed up. Everyone hopefully is on the same page in this one, and but as of yet, nothing's happened.
Well, I mean, they just put the poll out there. They put a 24-hour poll they just took down less than 24 hours ago. So,
By the way, my wife wasn't able to vote on that.
Neither was I.
Yeah, I know you can't get on. She can get onto the forum. She can get onto them. And there was nothing there. And she got on within only a couple of hours of it being open. And she was not able to vote on it. So I don't know if other people weren't. I don't know if it's whether we're both in the same house. We're running off the same network or anything, because I'd already voted, whether it's sort of, I don't know, locked it down somehow. But, trust me, I've got 6 computers in here and she's got her own, and, she plays her own game, and she wasn't able to vote on it. So, and she throws enough money in this game herself. So it'd be nice if she'd been able to vote. So, I thought I'd mention that because there's probably a few other people that couldn't vote.
So you think this is a women's suffrage issue or just general disenfranchisement?
Yeah, she wants to vote. She wants to vote, yeah.
Okay. I just wasn't sure, women aren't allowed to vote on this poll. And I don't think Kickside would go that direction. I mean, not yet, but.
No, it's just weird, it's just weird that she wasn't able to vote. And so we thought, all right, we'd try another browser. And no, it was still just coming up, like just showing you the scores, but not an actual opportunity to vote. So that was all. Anyway, just thought I'd mention it.
Okay. Well, let's move on before the takeaway is that women are allowed to vote.
Yeah, I'm going to get a beer.
Okay. Well, you can grab me one too. I got like a quarter inch left of mine.
Oh my God.
You what?
No, I'm trying just to not even touch that one at all.
Okay. So, how much did we talk about BP chores? Anything? I mean, or is this the list?
We didn't talk about anything on BP chores. We got hijacked onto I'm not sure what still.
Okay.
What wasn't the question? What's missing?
What's missing? What is low priority? If you watch the Wednesday show, what are some solutions that did we provide the wrong solutions? Are there new solutions? Is there something to be said about this before I just retire this slide? And yep, who let the dogs out? It's bad. There we go. Yeah, just any comments, anything as far as, you know, because Kixeye is paying attention to the Chore issue at this point, from what we can see. They've been bringing it up in Discord and trying to discuss it, and just any additional player input as far as is this, you know, is what we did on Wednesday correct, or was it just me and George and the other guy talking about it? So, you know.
The other guy.
Yes, the other guy.
That's still awesome.
Yes. Or some other guy. Yeah, some other guy.
It was some other guy.
Yeah, there we go, Dr. Dan. Yeah, I'm just, any input from anybody else as far as things that should be added, subtracted, changed, whatever, you know.
No, it looks pretty good. You know, I think you've some good points in there.
Okay. All right. You know, it wouldn't hurt my feelings if you added something, took it away, or whatnot. So, you know, don't worry about that. All right. Yeah. If that's the case, maybe, Mike, let's go to the next slide.
All right.
All right. On Discord, the conversation came up is giving the idea of giving players preferred builds from expert player builders, Kixeye, whatnot. And a lot of the pushback was, we don't want to know about what, you know, because I think a big part of the game is how you build and whatnot. But, you know, there's a couple places that we're lacking is we don't know the effectiveness of our builds, like where damage is coming from, and there's a lot of issues. We don't know. This is a battle, you know, what's displayed here is a battle log that would occur after your interaction. This is not dealing with the other huge elephant in the room is once we hit a new target cycle, we don't know anything about it because they do pretty bad. They've been doing pretty bad videos, in my opinion, as far as informing the player base of what the next target is going to be, how to build accordingly. And so this is just basically about, this isn't about the pre-intelligence. This isn't after we're already in, say, a raid target. And you hit a raid target. And the example I put here is Bat Rays hitting a 100, and this is just purely fictional. Because I don't know what the numbers are. But is this the kind of information that would be useful to the player bases, to players, as far as I hit this target and I have the option to go look at this after I hit the 100 and see what kind of damage I took and realize, okay, I was taking way more explosive than I thought. Well, maybe I should change my armors. Maybe I should change something about it. And is there anything else that should be added, taken away? The minimum damage thing, I'm not sure they're ever going to show us, at least in a format like this. But
I don't think they can, actually.
Yeah. I'm not sure they can do any of this. I'm just sort of spitballing the thing. Is there, you know, after you've encountered a target, something that you would feel that you could learn from through retrofits, whatnot, changes in driving style or whatnot? Because all we get right now is how much damage we took and how much time it takes to repair and the damage on each individual ship. There's not a lot of information that we get. And would this be useful? or do I need to explain it more?
No, I understand it fully. It's whether they'd ever implement it. You know.
No, that's not the issue. Let's say that they could,
Yep.
and would implement something like this. How would you want to change it?
In other words, say they were contemplating the idea and wanted ideas, and this is the idea that's presented to you.
Something you take away, something you add, or is there a different
it looks pretty good at the moment, and then once you say it works in practice, and then you can see whether it needs changing. You know?
Yeah.
Whether you can get enough information from what's there. If not, you say, could you add this or that to it? You know, but until we see something actually, running, and from then we can sort of like work from there. Like, imagine this is like the beta version sort of thing, and then you look at it, you think, oh, it runs for a few weeks. You think, okay, then you can say, you might need to add that. You know.
Yeah, I'm just saying without knowing anything at this point.
Exactly.
That's what I'm throwing up there. But you can't see anything until that point in time that you would want to change, add, subtract, change in some way.
Well, no, it'd be nice to know where you was getting hurt from, obviously.
Yeah.
And then you could try and adjust accordingly, And that's just on the PvE though, yeah?
Well, I'm not certain of the ramifications of adding this to PvP. PvP's got a more detailed battle log, and there might be some ramifications. But I think it started on PvE.
Yeah.
So I'm just throwing that out there. I think that's the last slide. George, you got anything on this, or Dr. Death? Mike, Corey?
There should be a splash line added.
You should be what added?
A splash damage line.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure how all those calculations work. If splash, yeah, because we've done the evade, and we could probably do the subtraction, but I'm not certain. Yeah, maybe splash damage. Anything else? All right, Mike. Nobody has anything else. But everybody seems to like it as a first step until we see how this works.
I just worry that it makes things even more complicated. Just because I already know that there's players that don't want to sit down and try and figure through builds, and they don't want to try and, backwards engineer what the damage was or what the targets are doing to them and all that other stuff.
I don't know. I think it's a kind of a yes and a no on that one, because some people just do really struggle.
Some of us don't know how to.
Yeah, and they could look at that and think, that's where I'm taking all my damage. That's the bit where I need to change the most. So that could be a big help for some people that are really struggling. For those of us, or for those that can build half decent fleets or good fleets, it might not be that necessary, But if it's there, at least it's there for somebody.
See, if it's, I think I might go opposite of that. The people that know how to build fleets really well and play with the numbers and stuff, this would be gold. This would be gold for me. If I didn't know how to do the builds that I do now, I don't know that it would help me as much. I mean, it might in a general sense of, I'm getting more damage here. I might want to bump this up. But then you'll get to a point where you have a build where it's like, okay, I think everything maxed out. I'm still taking more of this than some of that. And that's when it starts getting into the, kind of tricks of building. You know what I mean? And that's where I don't know that it's going to help those players as much as someone that does know the intricacies of all the mechanics in the game. This would be a gold mine for me.
Yeah, and like this, the example I provided, it's I think it'd be simple for most players that follow the game at all. Like, say you have the mixed armor, the CTX or whatever. And you have that on, and you go, okay, what happens if I put AA3 on? And now I'm taking, I can see where my damage is coming from because I already see that I'm taking way more explosive. Or I change my armors because I just look at that and say, or I see that, how it changes what I evaded and whatnot. It provides a lot more tools that I don't think are that complicated. You don't really need to run the numbers. You just, if you decide you want to make one change or another change, I don't see it as being, I don't think you need a spreadsheet to figure this out. I think it's just, once we see it, the numbers, it's just, I don't know, because it's difficult at times with some of the graphics that are provided in the game for me personally to decide, okay, is that a depth charge doing concussive? Or is that a rocket doing explosive? Or is that a rocket that's doing both? Or is that a depth charge that's doing both? There's a certain level of ambiguity in what we actually see in the game. And the only way that you can do it is to understand it is through expensive retrofits, to start changing armors, changing specials, to start looking at, okay, this ship took less damage because I put that on. But yeah, it took me 12 hours. It took me 16 hours to take that on and off, and now I need to do it to the rest of the fleet. I just thought it would be more of a tool than a hindrance to any of the players.
One thing, sorry, slightly going off a small tangent, but the information you're giving in the game, yeah. Have you looked at the RB1 reload buffer? Have you looked at that?
Okay.
Okay.
Have I tested it or?
No. When it says the special abilities, yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
When you 50%, reloads, minus 50 and all that, yeah. Bonus effects applied with outpost, it all goes down to minus 20.
Yeah,
Because that's map wide.
That takes that's just poor blueprint writing. Yeah, because one has a range, and then once you put it on the outpost, it's across your entire base.
Yeah.
So,
but it doesn't explain it clearly, does it?
No, there's so many things that don't explain things clearly or explain things incorrectly.
Yeah.
Especially inside your base. And I'm not trying to go backwards and look at all the things that are messed up. I'm just trying to look forward and try and find things that
Yeah, sorry, I was only going to go off on a slight tangent, but to say it's just it's how they.
Because we could have a whole show.
Again, it's just communication. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's just making things clearer.
Yeah,
that was all.
I understand.
Yeah,
all good. Let's see. I'm gonna put the link one more time. I think if we're done with this, do we have any more slides, Mike?
I don't know. Do we?
I don't think so.
I thought you had like 250, don't you?
Yeah, but there are,
I think it was like slide.
Yeah. The next slide is
200.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about. We don't want to talk about.
Some of those are really good slides.
Yes. All right, I'm gonna take you off present, Mike.
Okay.
And is there anything you guys want to talk about? I need to get another. I've been running out of beer for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know which of you, if any of you guys was on earlier on Discord.
I've just been in FA's garage. I'm all right. I've got beer.
All right.
I don't know if any of you guys was on earlier on Discord, but they were talking about a new ship mechanic on Discord earlier, and I was wondering what everybody thought about it. If any of you guys had caught the conversation.
I did not. I got home and tried 1 or 2 targets and then hopped onto here.
Well, the conversation was they're looking at bringing out ships in the next rounds that have special abilities to where you can actually add driving mechanics. So, like, one ship may come out, and if you use the Q on your keyboard, you get a speed boost for so many seconds. Or you might use the W and get an invincibility for like 5 seconds, and they'd have cooldown timers on them and stuff like that.
Ship activated specials or something like that?
Yeah.
No. especially not in PvP. I mean, if that were the case, then the defenders. I mean, it's just they already have a problem balancing the damn thing. No, no,
Well, they
no.
were
Things like that. I don't know that I would want to see anything like that just yet. Once they get everything squared away, that's when you start exploring that kind of stuff. Right now, you have pieces and piles of stuff. I mean, that's like me trying to go, hey, I'm going to go and buy a blower for my car when I have it apart because I blew, I spun a rod bearing and the rod went through the side of the block. I mean, shit, I don't even have an engine block to put the damn blower on. Why am I looking to put a blower on it? No, not right now.
Well, I'm just saying that the Kickside people brought that up on Discord as a conversation of something they're looking at.
Yeah, I just think it adds more complications to the game. I think there is a lot of players who just play this game simply. You know, they just want a good build and go out there and do their bits and pieces and hit a base here and there. And when you start having to use all the keyboards, some people are doing stuff, are playing the game on their phones. You know, so I don't know how well that's going to work. Yeah. Not yet, anyway. As I say, not yet. Yeah. I don't think the game's ready for that yet.
Yeah, I think they would have to straighten everything out. I mean, I'm still getting aggravated because I'm trying to play the game and it like half of my mouse clicks don't register. And then I went and I got I actually have a little thing on the laptop that registers. It's a mouse click, and I tried using that instead, and it still loses about 1 to 2/3 of the damn mouse clicks, which drives me nuts driving.
Now, I'm always shouting over to Kathy, to the missus. I was saying, bloody thing, because she moans about how loud my keyboard is, yeah, because it's like it click, 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 yeah, and so I hear it click, because it's the same keyboard that I use for editing videos and stuff like that, yeah. So I know when I've clicked something to stop, to cut, make a cut, and everything like that. I like to hear it, so I know it's clicks. I've hit that key, yeah. And quite often I'll hit that key, and it doesn't work when I'm playing Battle Pirates.
Yep.
And I think it's just deliberate, to stop my fleet.
I had a conversation with them one time, and the guy that I was talking to was like, that doesn't sound right. I mean, are you sure it's not? Are you sure it's actually registering this and that? And I said, dude, get here, look. And I had a video, and I had turned on I actually think I do it to all my videos now. I have the mouse clicks turned on so you can see when I click the mouse on the screen. If it registers, it's going to show in the software that it clicked. And you can see me, like, there was one video where I clicked like 7 or 8 times and it finally turned the boat around. I'm like, this is not cool.
Because you end up running into something that obviously you try to stop.
Well, a lot of stuff is timing too. Like this with this Dutchman one, it's really a lot of timing about when you want to turn. So you're going across the grain, across the hull, because if you're going across, it's shooting where you were rather than where you're going, and it saves you a ton of damage. I mean, I got while I was on, I kind of exclaimed, I got one for like 10 minutes of damage. I think if I could drive this the way I want to drive it, I could probably come out with like easily instant on the map repair. If my field shooting off of the Occams was actually working properly and my mouse clicks all registered, I mean, I think I could cruise through these things.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, all right, I can't actually accuse, but sometimes I feel like you have to click 2 or 3 times to actually get it to register. Sometimes, rather than like the first click works, and it's like I'm being suckered here,
Yeah.
Well, one other thing, completely different. I'm just imagining a scenario that there's a guy that used to put the research garrisons nice and neatly and take pride in his job on the map, and he's just been told that he's not getting promoted, and now he's just dumping them everywhere. Because they are just all over the bases, aren't they? They are just everywhere. What the hell's happening with the spawns on the research garrisons for the FM?
That's been brought up. The stuff on the map, especially with the advent of the discussion of the sector consolidation, target sizes and stuff on the map has been brought up. I actually had sent in something to try and show the difference between the sizes of what it is now and what we'd be okay with, because you can still see it. You can see the numbers. It's as wide as what the words are, but it's not massive. I mean, I know they're trying to spawn enough stuff so that everyone has the targets that they want, because they've just had so many people complaining that, I can't find this or I can't find that. And, they got to come up with a balance, but part of the balance is just getting rid of some of the stuff in terms of size.
Try using a locator, right, and see where it sends you to find a 120 or 150.
I'm not even going to talk about the locator. The locator has issues.
There was 3 below my base, right, and it tried to send me about a minute away.
They're aware of the locator thing. I think part of the thing is that they tried to expand how far the locator will actually find stuff for you, I believe, if I remember correctly. And what it did was, in order to do that without causing lag on our end, they cache the info. So you're seeing info that's a little bit late in terms of locations, which, I'm sure they'll work on it. I'm sure they'll work on it. But my bigger thing is the large target size stuff and I don't know why the gantry's out. I still don't understand why we have a gantry.
But the thing is,
completely clueless about that.
Sectors are made up of grids, loads and loads of grids. Yeah, every separate target, every separate Chore target that's out there on the map should be in its own little grid square, so that it doesn't cover a base. It doesn't cover another target.
Yeah, they overlap in some way.
There's enough empty spaces to put each separate target, each separate thing in its own separate little grid square.
That would require them to run an algorithm for every single spawn, for every single target that's going to go on the map.
Yeah, the thing that I think that they should do, well, they should realize all the limitations prior to sector consolidation, because these problems are only going to get worse associated with that. But maybe some sort of overlay system where they're like on anything, like this is on top, this is on the bottom. What do we need to see? What number it is or whatnot, the description of it.
Yeah.
And right now, I think it's just whatever's the most recent gets displayed, correct?
Yeah, and could bases not be a priority where they're the top of the pile? You know what I mean? Yeah. So so rather than having bases being buried, because some people can't even click on their own bases, at the moment, and so if they were always at the top, if things spawned under them, fair enough. But the fact that they're on top of bases, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I think
the overlay thing.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say the overlay thing I kind of like, because they already have that mechanic in the game. It's in the radar. You can do that in the radar. I mean, you can click on through all sorts of stuff. So I'm not sure why they couldn't do that. That one would be very interesting.
Oh, you're talking more like sort of an ad blocker type of solution where we have a choice like remove bases or remove FM targets.
Yep.
Or
Yep.
Yeah. I did have the codes for them ad blocker things. It's actually my old computer that I used years ago. I only used it once when somebody used it against me, and I complained about it. And I had a friend that gave me the codes, and I did use it to hit them back, their alliance back, and that was probably about 4 years ago. But now it's on my old computer that's used as basically a media server in the lounge,
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't got them on this one. Do you know what I mean? I do use ad blocker, but I don't use the codes. Not on this computer, anyway.
Okay. Yeah, I don't use ad blocker in Battle Pirates, but I use it on ESPN to skip the ads at the start.
Yeah, I use it generally because I upload stuff. I upload my work, and so like I don't want it getting smashed up with ads. So I need to see what it looks like clean first of all. You know what I mean? Just to see what if anyone else is using ad blocker, what they're seeing. So yeah, it's a tool of my work. So yeah.
Okay. All right. I guess you guys had a discussion on. I saw Jordy saying, "Oh hell no, what a crock." I'm assuming that's associated with Dr. Death brought up the fact that there was a discussion on Discord associated with providing more actions that our ships can do. Was that the way it was explained? I had to go get a beer at that point.
Yeah.
But is that the way it was explained? Because that's what they're looking at. Do we want more? Do we want additional functionalities out of our hulls? Is basically the question. They're planning not next month, not the following month, but 6 months from now. Some point in the future. Is that a direction that the players would like to go as far as having? The suggestions he brought up was, I think he was just pulling them out of his ass, but they weren't tested. But 5 seconds of invincibility or speed up if you push another button. The one I brought up is if you're driving like normal subs pre-Fangtooth, could you choose to surface and submerge your sub and reset your timer in order to make it less monotonous, or things like that, or a special ability that you want to like. There's so many of these things that are on a timer, like the missile mana core. Okay, I want to end this, and then I'll take the time out, and I'll wait for it to start back up. Because I don't want to go out there and because my timing's off. I don't want to go sit in the middle of the water for 30 seconds waiting to go back in. I can choose to end it at this point and then re-engage. I don't know. That's the way I understood it personally. So
I think they've got to sort out a lot of things on PvP and stuff before they start introducing anything else. It's fix what we've already got before they start introducing anything else.
Yeah. Jordy's asking about simplicity and the whole. I don't know, Jordy. You're welcome to come on. I'm trying to figure out what's simple. Well, Jordy on the. I'm just trying to figure out what simplicity.
I know a lot of players. I've got one player in my alliance, and he's a good player, and he's a low player. Do you know what? But he's only got one arm. He's only got one hand he can use. So adding load of more keyboard things that he's got to do, that's the game over for him.
Yeah. But we can't. Well, I mean, to be honest, we can't base
the game on him. Yeah, I perfectly understand that. But what I'm saying is, there's a lot of people that like a simple game. They like it uncomplicated.
But right now,
the driving uncomplicated. Not having to hit a load of keys.
But what I'm saying is, right now you have the down button, which wasn't originally part of the game. You didn't used to be able to stop your ships when you first started playing. So we have the down button, we have the shift button, we have all the arrow keys. There's stuff going on in the game that already requires having, I don't know, probably having 2 arms. I want to get away from this because I'm sure I could say something wrong associated with this.
No, it's that obviously it's an extreme case. But the point is I know a lot of people that play this game really. It's the simplistic element of the driving part of it that I think keeps them into it. I mean, because it doesn't require fast reactions and skills really on the driving part. Yeah, it's more getting your build right. And that's the more critical part of it. Than being able to drive fast and react fast in this game.
Yeah, and we're not even sure if it's the fast part. It's just a matter of adding options. But I understand what you're saying. Or we're not going to get in the one arm thing. But it's. Yeah. I mean, as far as making it like a console game where you got to push 30 buttons in a matter of 2 seconds in order to accomplish what
that's
your
it.
intent.
You know, that's what I was thinking. It was taking. It's more like a console-based thing, and that's not what this game really was about. You know what I mean?
No. I completely agree. You know, because I did mention that, you know, the demographics of this game are not similar to, you know, the most popular video games.
The only game I really played before this year was games like Civilization and stuff like that, you know, and they were more of a well thought out, planned strategy game. And this originally, as I thought, was a strategy game. Build your base, get your fleets, you know, take out stuff. You know, it's not like the fast shoot 'em up, blow 'em up games that you get on the consoles as such. You know what I mean? It's a different game, and I don't personally want it to go in that direction. You know.
Yeah, because you know, I used to play, you know, the Red Alert Command and Conquer games.
Yeah,
I used to play that, but then I had another one because I always just found the adventure of Grand Theft Auto to be interesting. But that's a completely different game, and that's that requires you to do that kind of thing. So that's good, but it's more like, you know, the Command and Conquer is why I think a lot of people originally started playing this game.
Yeah, I mean, I use loads of keyboard shortcuts. I'm an editor, you know what I mean. So yeah, I can use all the keyboard shortcuts. I use them fast, you know, because I you know, so it's not a problem for me. But I know that a lot of people don't. You know, they're not that comfortable using that many different keys on the keyboard. You know, so I don't think it would be a good move in the right direction for the game.
Yeah, it really depends on how it's executed, but yeah.
If we look at the average age of the players in Kixeye, okay,
in Battle Pirates, but yeah,
in Battle Pirates, you know what I mean. I think most of the people that I see on there, you know, are into their 30s, 40s, and 50s and plus, you know, and they're not the people with the fastest reactions. They're not the people that may be the most dexterous, you know. They're not 14-year-olds that can do 30 clicks in a second, you know.
No, I think the average, I think the bulk of the players are between about 40 and 65 for this game, is my guess.
Yeah, I mean,
based on the demographics of this show.
That's it. I'm 55 next week, you know, so you know we're not kids, you know.
Yeah. So. but you still got quick fingers, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know. We have much else. I mean, it's a Halloween edition because we're not gonna have another show. I'm assuming, George, you're gonna be Greta again this year.
Yeah. I don't know. Sure, we'll go with that.
All right. Well, you and Dr. Death were Greta last year, right?
Dude, I don't know what the hell you was smoking last year, but holy crap.
Yeah. I mean, you know, next show we'll you know.
I mean, I know a really good rehab. I can get you into rehab if you need to, man.
Yeah, we'll have both of you dressed up in latex for you know, the next show. But
Halloween's.
I really worry about you. I mean, if that's the kind of thing that you fantasize about, man, oh my. We got to sit down and talk, man.
Yeah, it was last year.
We really do.
I was just making sure you guys weren't, you know, repeating costumes too often and whatnot. But is there anything else we have for the live show, or?
I mean, apparently, if you want some really good drugs, go find Hefe. He's going to be a new dealer, I guess. I mean, damn.
Yeah. Whatever, Greta. So if we don't have anything for the next show, I can put the link to the after show. And why is the link not working for Jordy? I will send you another one here. And
you posted the YouTube video link.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
Like I said, good drugs, Hefe.
No, it's just because I've had to post it elsewhere. I'm sorry. So give that a shot, Jordy, and anybody else. And I think we'll proceed to the after show, and y'all have fun with the special event. Which, you know, if you don't like it, don't do it. If you're having fun with it, go ahead and do it. I don't think it's going to make or break you. So, you know, just take the game like that, and you might be happier about it. So, any parting words from anybody?
Well, y'all have a good night.
Have a good night, everybody.
Later, people.
Good night, all.
There y'all.